I am Tlatla Mthethwa.
I'm Nomfundo Manzini.
And we are here on the lawns of our campus on a sunny autumn day.
For the University of Johannesburg Global News Relay 2021, we have prepared a series of short films.
Stories with a creative and sometimes a hybrid approach to documentary filmmaking.
And all these films have a common thread. Great characters who have survived and thrived despite the impact of the pandemic on their lives.
First up, The Business of Dying. This is a heartbreaking journey of a businessman, Jabu Pasha, who struggles with making a living in these times.
Next, we meet talented poet and actress Refilwe Petese, who refuses to give up on her ambitious plans in Ignite the Fire.
Then, right here on our campus, a psychology student, Simpiwe Ndlazi, is under pressure when she decides to help struggling learners in their final year of high school, called Matric here in South Africa.
And finally, in Here's to the Artist, Vuyelwa Matsane, passionate fashion designer, closes the door to her business only to find an opening to a new hidden talent.
No, life has not always been like this. It has not always been good. Jabu is my name. Surname is Pasha. I was born here in Gauteng, but moved to Limpopo. My school life, from the first grade up until the last one, I've been carrying a bag, selling snacks. So here I am, I see a loophole. If I can sell cigarettes, including the teachers as well, then I can survive. I run this business, Moro Pasha Communications and Media. So with the communications and media business, I mean, you can do advertising, you can do photography production, you can do, venture into different types of, the broadcast level, you can even be there. So choosing an internet cafe over photography wasn't really like, maybe now I'm actually like shutting down my photography stuff and I don't like it anymore. And no, this is something that it's one family. I don't want to talk about this. This is killing me every day. They went to my internet cafe. They broke into my internet cafe, took my computers. The following year they came. Okay, I was at the school attending a meeting for my child. Hardly 26 minutes going outside. My cameras, the laptop, hard drives, everything that I was about to do a presentation to the municipality at Ekurhuleni. Everything, all that, just went like this. Then the following day, they took my car. That was the end of me in the life of photography.
And some disturbing figures out of National Treasury today. It says South Africa's unemployment rate could reach 40% due to the impact of COVID-19. Some businesses, as you well know, have shut down. Others have indicated they might not be opening after the lockdown.
They usually say a knockdown is not a knockout. So with what happened to SAA, although it affects me, but then at the same time, it's another chapter of my life.
Is a return to talk about retrenchments at South African Airways. Where do we stand tonight?
South African Airways business rescue practitioners have officially embarked on a retrenchment process.
So I've just started the toilet business, which I'm hoping the best will come out of it. But now I'm pushing it hard so that I can make a living, a revenue out of this business.
Today we've got 3 funerals that we're taking care of. We're going to deliver about 3 toilets to all those funerals. So apart from the funerals, even tomorrow we've got another job in Braamfontein. So whereby there is that small event in Ghana whereby they will be having students doing some shaky moves. So we're going to take some there as well. But just for today, it's just those funerals.
How's life going?
Life is going great. All the pieces I'm picking up, they seem to be taking me in the right direction.
A breathing piece of flesh with a color that fits into the colors of nature. Dark as the soil and colorless like the rays of the sun. A simple black child, a symbol of perfection. Refugio Pisese is a daughter of Alexander Township. I rather should say a granddaughter. I was born and raised in the township. I am a sister. I was raised in a very not very privileged background, raised by my grandfather. I have an organization. I started in 2019 rather, and the name of the organization is Ignite the Fire. So it's under the sectors of heritage, sports, arts, and culture. Hearing about the virus, the COVID, is scary because I was supposed to go to Italy, and fortunately that we were stopped by the government saying that no activities will take place in Milan because the virus has, spread so much. So everything's on a stop. A letter was sent by the theatre saying that it's a list of the shows and some of the 3 programs that I'm involved in at the theatre. Then the main program being Butilo. So the letter says the theatre will be shut. You know how broken I am. So we then decided that we're going to change the whole physical, outreach to the people, and rather make it sort of like an online as also a way of teaching people about the digital, this new digital industry that is now introduced as a way of living, a new way of living for the people. So we then targeted mostly Facebook, that we know people will be sitting on there. A lot of people, even myself, I was sitting at home and I was online. And most people were sitting online, and we knew, let's go for online, let's do podcasts, because we felt that it's applied arts methods. We cannot say we don't have content. There is content every day, and right at our homes where we were, we created ideas that felt that they'd be able to reach the community in a way that the community has never ever thought they would. The easing of the lockdown meant we went back. It meant we're going back to do Butilo. It meant we're going back on the drawing board, running a new whole festival. It's no longer Butilo. I am the resemblance of nature. You are the resemblance of nature. We are the resemblance of nature. You are the resemblance of nature. Come on. You cannot hate me. You can only love me, because you love nature and nature is my resemblance. Go on now, black child, live on and shine. If young people anywhere in townships want to really not be a part, but they want to ignite the fire, of course, they must just go on ahead and register their own Ignite the Fire and come work with us so that we can all ignite the fire. Because if we can be a unity of all provinces, townships, eventually we all start igniting the fire. Imagine, I'm not saying there's going to be many refilways, but I'm just saying there's going to be many of us, doing this greatness, and too many greatness is going to be eventually this transformation. And we are going to really transform this country. Igqirha lendlela kuqongqothwane, igqirha lendlela kuqongqothwane, igqirha lendlela kuthiwa kuqongqothwane, igqirha lendlela kuthiwa kuqongqothwane.
Anxious, uncertain.
It is the 27th of March 2020. It is official. South Africa is under lockdown.
My name is Simphiwe Ndlazi. I am 20 years old. I'm from Katlehong specifically. I went to the University of Johannesburg. I am studying BA in psychology.
A nationwide lockdown for 21 days.
When I saw the announcement regarding the lockdown, I was really scared. I was concerned about my studies. Leaving RES was a huge disappointment for me because I had just arrived at RES. Having to go back home really affected how conducive, the environment would be for me to effectively study. Senzo created a WhatsApp group chat in which everyone who had interest and was willing to help would then contact him, and what he'd do is that he would add everyone in the WhatsApp group chat. The reason why I didn't tell my mom about joining the group is because I don't really have so many chats about my everyday doings regarding my studies, and I didn't think this is one thing that was important or really hectic to tell her about. I was willing to be involved in it. She was very concerned.
If you're going to do this, how are you going to cope nomsebenzi wakho wesikolo na? Sizokhona ukuthi abe busy nabantwana besikolo ngapha, why she has to do her school work ngapha, bengabe izinto ngaziphathi phela.
When learners weren't responsive to my efforts of trying to help them when I was sending them videos of my tutorials, I was really disappointed and hurt, mostly because I was also sacrificing my own time for them, and I felt as if that time is not being appreciated. I had my own things to focus on, so there was a point where I'm questioning whether or not is it worth it to even continue with this. So I definitely was on the edge of just dropping everything. It was very difficult managing both duties at the same time, tutoring the learners as well as adequately focusing on my work. Sometimes it would get very overwhelming and pressurizing a lot. I had to study before I tutor the learners, right, which came with a lot of work, and I also had to study my own work. So it came a point where the work is too much. As a result, there was a point where I actually didn't do well at the time in a particular test under my course, and that really came with a lot of disappointment. When teachers started being part of the group, I think it became a little bit better with them engaging with us, being responsive, and trusting that what we're doing for them is something that we're just doing out of the goodness of our hearts. Eventually, when they then uplifted the lockdown regulations, now learners could go back to school. That meant now we didn't have so much pressure tutoring them as much as we were when they weren't going to school at all.
I go by the name Tandeko Kwala. I completed my matric in Katlehong in Sijabulile Secondary School. This year I'm doing my first year in the University of Johannesburg, studying towards my degree in psychology. I really appreciate their help and the program. It really helped me so much since I didn't have access to previous question papers. So I really appreciate that.
Having realized the impact that the project had for learners, what we have decided to do is now open a tutoring institution which will be based in Katlehong, wherein we will be now helping the learners. We are going to be implementing other strategies to make sure that we are reaching as much numbers as possible. So we're definitely going to put ourselves out there using different social media platforms besides WhatsApp. The end of the program actually helped me with a lot. Because I had so much time, I was able to really study adequately, and eventually I really passed very well, and I was very impressed with my marks, and I couldn't be happier.
To the artists, here's to the freaks, the ones who articulate what the soul seeks. The musicians, the poets, the singers, designers, the fresh-faced new talent, the grizzled old-timers. Writers, exciters, performers and actors, the fine freak flag flyers, the real-life distractors.
My name is Vuyelwa Matsane. I am from Mpumalanga, a small township called Simile. I am a fashion designer and an illustrator. My aunt bought me this stack of like Disney books, all of the Disney princesses. It was like Snow White, Cinderella, everybody, right? And I don't know, I gravitated towards The Little Mermaid. I love Ariel. I love fairy tales and fantasy characters. So I would trace her a lot. My dad is actually an educator. So I think how he supported me was he gave me a lot of stationery, but there wasn't really an encouragement necessarily. It was just something that I did as a hobby, and no one really stopped me, but no one also encouraged me. It was like, oh, you can draw, you know? It wasn't necessarily pressured. It was the decision that made sense at the time. Yeah, but I did say to my dad, I want to study art, and he was like, you can do that like after, like finish the law, and then you can do art. So I was like, okay. I didn't fight, you know. It wasn't really a heavy conversation. I was just like, okay, well, that makes sense. The scariest thing for me was, okay, where am I going? But I think I definitely had a lot more passion and a lot more zeal, you know, for fashion and art and all of that stuff. So I was really more excited, and I was just more interested in the future and what it could be. But I also just wasn't thinking too far ahead, but I was just really, really more excited. Like, okay, I want to be an artist. I want to be a fashion designer. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to start my own business. I just didn't know what part of fashion I wanted to be in. 2020 was supposed to be the year where it's like, okay, we're getting into a new studio. We're hiring more people, because things were really, really looking up. And then March came, and the president was like, sorry, y'all, it's not what you thought. So I called my mom and I was like, look, I think I might be coming home, but I need to close off some contracts this side, and then I'll come back. And my mom was like, okay, that's fine, that's wisdom. And then I got a DM on my Instagram for the illustrations. And I don't really check DM. The lady says, oh, my husband is graduating, but unfortunately he's not going to have a ceremony because of COVID, Could you please do an illustration of him graduating, just to celebrate, so that he has something, you know? A week after I had done the thing, and now I'm illustrating a lot of people, I get a call from someone from the Sowetan newspaper. They're like, we'd like to do a story on you. So I was like, okay, sure, that's awesome. And then it slowed down. Then there was nothing. And I was like, oh snap, I think I might need to revisit that go home plan. But now it's like 3 months later. So now I have to book another 3 months. So it was just like this constant, like every time I'm about to leave, something happens. So it was just like weird. Emotionally, I really struggled with like anxiety, depression, just a lot of negative stuff, because I also come from a highly critical family. So like nothing is, I don't know if you can tell that I'm like a huge perfectionist. That's because like, okay, nothing is ever really good enough. I really struggled with that. It took a really long time for me to trust myself and be able to like bring people into the space and allow them, like, you know, because people will give you their money and they're trusting you, but if you don't trust yourself, you're always going to disappoint people, right? So that was a really difficult thing, to just like believe in me, right, and be proud of me and trust me, right, that I'm actually capable. The fact that my business is still up and running is, I've got clients who love me, who became friends to me, who took care of me, who paid me more than I had charged, just to, like, it was just amazing for me, right? Just the opportunities that came through. I got to illustrate a book. That was like, it was just so amazing stuff happened. Yeah, so what it taught me is that, you know, your gift will make way for you. Yeah, there's nothing is wasted. Like, you just need to be prepared for the opportunities that are gonna come.
What an amazing and a great experience for all of us, and it has been a roller coaster ride too, but I'm looking forward to the broadcasting day. How's it been like for you, Nofundo?
It has absolutely been amazing. I enjoyed it so much. I have never been part of a production like this before, so I absolutely had an amazing time.
And that is all from us at the University of Johannesburg.
And from the team. Bye!